So yeah, this is Capricorn's reading for February 2024 for whoever, whenever you find this. What up, everybody? Welcome to Spreadspace. I'm Claire V. We have our new deck here, the Sacred She Tarot. It's very colorful. I couldn't sit the one way because the light was shining a glare. And now sitting this way, it's like the light is barely shining. Fireworks again. How about we shuffle and do a little reading with the new cards? So we are going to shuffle these cards really well and see what they have to say. See if fireworks are coming. I hope y'all can see them. You know what you need to know at this very moment. Alright. So, while the beautiful fireworks are going off, there's some kind of truth you need to know. I just seen that. What kind of truth do you need to know? Alright. And we have our reading. We have the 10, an overload. Can't see the pretty card. Another 10, grief. So we have an overload of grief about the unknowable, perseverance, rest is in reverse, and competition is in reverse. So this tells me the only competition you have is between you and you. There's no other competition. The only one you're competing against is you. And perhaps it's the lack of rest that you need to rest. It's like you keep on go. The only way we're going to persevere is if we get some rest. Now, that's where you find the truth when we stop doing so much. I said before in another reading how when we're outside or whatever, we can't feel that soft breeze. We can't feel the little things if we're doing 10 million other things. The only way we're gonna feel and know the unknowable is if we come outside of ourselves, because we are stuck with this overload of grief. You see, this flower symbolizes the grief, and this is red, so it's like he's holding, see these? Oh, there you go. See, it's like all these little griefs. The grief overload. So we do have to cry it out in order for us to grow. If flowers don't grow without water, so you can't grow without tears, shedding the tears. Yeah, look, flow. Let the tears flow. That was on the top of the deck. And on the split, how are we going to do that? The only way we can refresh is perhaps we have to drink a lot of water, and maybe we can gain some wisdom from either a younger child or an older lady. Yeah, we're finally seeing things from another point of view. Perhaps you were blaming, or you were the one to blame. What are you blamed for? Okay, so there was a separation and you were basically at fault for it, or you were blamed for it. You have to have compassion, because some things we're not being honest with ourselves. Perhaps we're putting all of our eggs in one basket. In order to be honest with ourselves, in order to be compassionate with ourselves, we must be honest, because we have some kind of false belief or some kind of belief that is affecting our self-confidence. And we're in a mix of this change and we're indulging. In order to gain this understanding, we must, the separation had to happen in order for us to gain this understanding. We have to use our intuition when beginning this new stage. We have all these 10s, so we know that something's coming to an end. At least this grief is coming to an end. Here's your determination. where we take this blame and this whatever that is, and we take that as our determination or as our to move forward. It says be here and now. So perhaps we are focusing on the future, focusing on the past, and we're not here and now. In order to get to this turning point, we have to be here and now. We're never going to reach that harmony, that, you know, everything flows. We're not going to reach that until we... Look, this card is so cool. It's arrogant. Look at that. So this star necklace, matching earrings, something that came up in another reading. Perhaps we need to wear that as protection, because even if we're alone, we're not even really alone. It's what we focus on, and we are focused on departure. It's like that story, like of Noah's Ark, when you let the bird flow and you know you're close to land. You're close to shore. You're out in the sea of emotions and you're dealing with all this grief and all this stuff, but the bird's here now. You're coming close to shore. And perhaps you need to seek the wisdom keeper, somebody about this blame game, the blame game. Perhaps we have to have gratitude and forgive. The Ho'oponopono prayer comes to mind, the Hawaiian prayer. It's like our intentions aren't pure. Once we see the wisdom keeper, that's when the turning point happens. You'll be able to see the colors, because it's like we're repressing. That's so scary. This card's so scary. Look at the eyes. See how they like glow like that? It's so scary. So that's when the truth's coming out. That's when everything's going to come together. That's when you take this one thing, perhaps the past and the present, and make the future. But this blame keeps on coming up. So it's like you're getting blamed for the separation or this lack of cooperation. And you have to understand that it's coming from a person that seeks power. Like, you know what I mean? I can't even explain how I see it. Somebody arrogant seeking power. You have to almost be grateful for that too, because if this grief wouldn't occur, you wouldn't know what perfection looks like. You know what I mean? Perhaps we're doing something with drawing or our makeup or something, like perfecting it. And this reminds me, like, in order to do that, this is like practice, and that goes right along with your persistence card and your perseverance and how the determination to stick with it in order to, like, I hear practice makes perfect. So when we're going on these new beginnings, remember to... What up, Capricorn? I truly do apologize. I don't know what happened, but I recorded your whole reading and thought I uploaded it, and it was deleted. Gone half of it, like 10 minutes into the reading. But that's this Uranus. Square the moon and the sun energy with Uranus. We have a lot of shocking, surprising, interrupting changes that have to do with electric technology, lightning, things of that nature, the nervous system, out of the box thinking. Everything with Uranus is very reinventive. I think it was Uranus was the first planet found without the naked eye. So you think of using something like they made a telescope, and that's how Uranus was found. So you think we're gonna have interruptions like this, like poof, it's gone. So perhaps this is going to affect you. So if I were you, I would back up all of your pictures, all of your storage, back up all your technology, so that way all your messages, whatever you don't want to lose, back it up, because it's just like that poof, it's gone, just like you're reading your video, gone. Yeah, be prepared for that. So yeah, we had repression. We're just gonna go for Capricorn and see if the same things come up. So let's hear. Yeah. So yeah, same cards. Figures. Perhaps we'll have a little different message. Alright, we'll do line by line, because this is a lot. We are not going to have flushing toilets in my video. Down goes the devil. I might save that toilet flushing sound for the next video. Maybe that's what we're doing with our habits. Flushing it down the toilet. I'm leaving it in there. So, yeah, see that sound? I just replayed it again. That is the sound of all these habits, all these things that no longer serve us. That's the sound of them going down the toilet. Speaking of which, if you want to do that, like, that's a good idea. Like if you're separating from someone, or you just forgave somebody, write their name down, or write whatever it is, put on a piece of paper, and after you take your shit, put it in the toilet and flush it with the shit. Like, say bye-bye to that shit. Bye! Say bye-bye to, say bye-bye to that shit. Because, I think it was you who were saying you're outgrowing this. You're bigger than this, Capricorn. That might have been somebody else, but that's what I hear. So, perhaps we need to be balanced, take off our shoes and walk on the natural ground, like feel the vibrations of the earth. And perhaps something with the Egyptian pyramids has something to do with it. Perhaps something with the Egyptian pyramids have something to do with it. Maybe some kind of knowledge. This Hermit came out in reverse, so perhaps we have the wrong key or wrong hole or something. You know, when you're trying to, like, I see you're trying to open up all these doors, but you're having the wrong key, or it's the wrong door for the wrong key. There's a definite imbalance here. We're definitely cutting the cords. We're walking away from what no longer serves us. She's facing forward but walking backward. So you need to walk the way you're facing. Like, and perhaps you have to cut these cords in order to, and you want to say hi, Runa? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. We're not fighting. Go get a toy. Get your toy. Well, here's your football. Sorry about that, Capricorn. So, we have the Lovers in reverse right after this Eight of Cups. Perhaps we are failing to make a choice, or I see a breakup, a separation. Perhaps that's why we're in this unteachable mode. We have to realign our focus. Now, in order to focus, we have to be like this High Priestess. We have to use our intuition. You see, she's facing forward. This Page of Wands is the only one facing the past. So perhaps that's what we have to do. You're like this salamander walking through fire, like the Aries reading. I'll tag that up in the right hand corner if you want to know more about that. And the Privilege. I forget who had that. It might have been Aries too. And I think I recorded you on the same day as I recorded Aries. Yeah, so you are connected with Aries in some way. Perhaps this privilege has something to do with this. You feel like you're behind these gates. There's something holding you back. So perhaps that's why you're trying all these doors, trying to unlock these gates. Not only is there a lock, but there's like these vines. So yeah, you have to unlock it, but you'll also have to strip off all these vines. So perhaps that's why this Page of Wands is in the past. I guess we have to go there in order to get there, to leave there. To leave it in the past, we have to go there. We have to go back there. So that reminds me of that one releasing video we did about how to release the past traumas so that way we don't bring them into the past. And perhaps that's why she's walking in the past with her mind on the future. Like, in order for me to have a better future, I have to revisit the past. And perhaps we have to cry it out, or it's very emotional. And indulgence in reverse is, I think, of moderation. The strawberries buried under the cake instead of on top. So maybe that's all that stuff we're getting through. It's like the cherry gotta climb up on top. We have to defeat what we indulge in. We have to give it away or something. Give it to God. We have the Magician in reverse. So perhaps we are taking on this energy, or we know someone or are around someone with this energy. Now this is a trickster, a manipulator, someone who is gonna like try to like look over here while I'm going in your pockets type shit. And perhaps we realize that because we have perfection with disappointment in reverse. So, and the disappointment is right. This is the practice. We're get like the one I hear. You, I don't know if it was your reading, but something's gonna happen, and instead of you acting like you normally would act, you have a totally different response. Like it doesn't affect you as it normally would, or something of that nature. And you even notice this, and maybe somebody else notices, like, oh, like they didn't get pissed off like they normally would, or oh, like, you know, something like that. Alright, we're leveling up. Or should we say, are we digging deeper? Capricorn. Let's find out. Alright. I'd say we're digging deeper. Perhaps we're failing to wake up. Failing to see the truth. Because of this. This is the Emperor. And the Emperor is very disciplined. He's very responsible. He's responsible for his actions. You know, I think of the Ho'oponopono, like, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. Something about the fingertips. It's on your fingertips. And perhaps you, I don't know, I see someone pushing the buttons. I've never seen this before with this card, but see, like you're pushing the lights or something, and that's creating some kind of energy. Perhaps it's radiation. We have to block from radiation. There's this lady, Deborah Davis. Not Deborah, but with a V. Deborah Davis.
Now, I want to let you in on a dirty secret.
Uranus. We're waking up. We're pushing the buttons. Radiation. Deborah Davis. Okay. So, maybe you have to do that. Like, take it step by step back. Like, baby step back. You don't want to take it all the way back. We want to take it all the way back, but we don't want to do that all one jump, like baby steps. So, Deborah Davis was the woman who proposed this petition about...
Phones are not tested in the way they're used. They're tested in a holster away from the body. You may remember the diesel engine scandal. So what happened? You can rig the test, but you can't rig the real world.
She didn't stop there. Deborah Davis did not stop there. She continues, I think she's alive today, still pushing, but she put up all these signs in California and Florida about the radiation in cell
phones in real world conditions. That means they actually tested them next to the body. And they did something amazing. They took 400 phones off the shelf, put them through a test system, and they found that 9 out of 10 phones failed to pass the current European standards. You can see the bar there showing you that when the Apple iPhone 5 was tested according to the manufacturers, it easily passed the test. When it was tested with 5mm distance, it still passed. But when it was tested directly next to the body, you can see that it exceeded the standard by more than double.
Went to these cell phone places, Apple, Samsung, and I think one other one, but I'm not sure. It was Apple and Samsung. And she wanted to know how they did their radiation tests to approve cell phones because of the amount of radiation that
Six-figure investigation going to the FCC-approved laboratories in the United States with the 3 most popular phones. And this is what they found.
This is a special edition of Marketplace. Most of us carry our phones next to our body. And why wouldn't we? Science, tests, and the hidden message in your cell phone. So the tests are all done.
Tests are all finished.
And?
The number exceeded the limit. It went up significantly with each one of the phones.
That's right. The phones exceeded the safety limit when they were moved right against the body. The radiation absorbed increased 3 to 4 times.
She
That's right.
proceeded to do these
3 to 4
investigations,
times.
and she discovered that the way they do their test is on a 250-pound military man. But they only calculated the radiation amount from that amount away from. They did not calculate the correct amount of radiation from when you're holding it right to your face. We're all using these devices that are illegal amount of radiation, meaning it is harmful not only to our brains but to our bodies. Not only to us but our children especially. Most children have phones at 5 or 6 now, and if they don't have a phone, they have some kind of
yellow-white part showing the highest exposure to the eyes that the cell phone radiation gets all might have a phone into the next to their brain of a child. The consequences that might have a phone that next to is not protected with myelin, and therefore the exposures of anything to it are going to have a greater impact.
Not realizing how dangerous it really is, thinking, oh, well, everybody does it, it's okay, or thinking, well, it's legal, it's okay, not realizing
that you want to keep these devices off your body and especially away from your children, because the fat-loving brain and the fat-happy sperm both are storage sites for toxic agents. When you have a phone in your pocket, it's a two-way microwave radio. It's sending and receiving a signal, a handshake, 900 times a minute. And so long as it's on, whether you're using it or not, it's sending that microwave signal to protect your brain. Because what we do know is that cell phone radiation, microwave radiation, can damage brain cells.
So, Deborah Davis puts this knowledge out to the world, and her video is also in the link in the description if you want to check that out. But more than half of people don't realize how dangerous radiation truly is. There is a basketball player, I don't think it's LeBron James, but it's the one that's always in the Sony commercials. How ironic. But it's on a hush-hush. But if you dig, you'll find it. And you can even see he has a scar from here to here from brain surgery, because every single picture that you see him in, he's like this with a phone to his ear. And that right there is proof of how dangerous it is. Cancer never existed until technology came around. So they go hand in hand. So perhaps we're waking up to some kind of truth, or we are denying some kind of truth. It's like cognitive dissonance. It reminds me of the allegory of Plato's cave, where the men in the cave they were captured in a cave, and all they seen was the fire and the people, the shadows of the people walking, carrying objects behind him. Like you'll see a dog, and they'll see a plate, or that's all they know is these big shadows. So they're thinking that they're this small, and there's these big, huge giants, and that is the light. Well, one of these men escaped and went outside and realized that there's sunlight, and that there's trees, and then there's infinite land, and that the world is vast and beautiful. So he went back to the cave, and he was like, yo, like, this isn't the light. There's the light. There's a bigger light. Come out and see. And these men were like, get the fuck out of here. That is our light. What are you talking about? No, you have to come see it. Come. And he's like, no, I'm not going nowhere. There's nowhere out there. This is my shit. This is where we live. And the guy, literally, these men were almost about to fight, because this dude didn't want to admit, or didn't want to believe, or he didn't want to know that there was something else. He didn't want to know that he was wrong for believing something else, possibly, because that's the way I felt when I found out the truth. I felt like, damn, I should have known that, because the truth is inside of us. Like when you hear something, you know it's true. So yeah. There's this imbalance, and then this honesty goes right along with this lack of following the rules, or going against the norm, refusing to wake up. This imbalance, this dishonesty. Because you gotta think the Emperor is very honest with himself, and he is honest with everyone else. Very logical thinking. So this is using logical thinking when it comes to this. Like I think of the sun, the spinning earth theory thing when I think of that, because it's like, use logical thinking. Like, you watch the sun rise every morning, and you watch the sun set every night. So you see it move. That's how we got time, the sundial. That's the first clock. So you think, just because they tell you, oh, well, it's not really moving, you're the one that's moving, it doesn't mean you're going to believe what somebody says over what you are physically, literally, honestly, logically visualizing with your own two eyes. So it's like something like that, Capricorn. Think and look with your eyes. Could it be real? What's more real? What I see, or what somebody tells me? Like, use your brain. Put it out. Just use your brain. Cat. And perhaps that's why we're not using our brain, because we're so focused on this. The Four of Cups needs a lot of rest. This was in the Taurus reading, the house falling on you, or what do you do if a house falls on you? With the Wicked Witch of the East. Something about sunglasses, accessories, and we have the Hangman. So this definitely goes right along with it. Oh, I have to answer this. Oh my gosh, look, fucking Uranus. Another interruption, Capricorn. I'm sorry, I thought it was an important phone call I'm waiting for. So this is another indication. The Hangman says, like, do you see he got that bright idea? And that sun's coming out, the sun reveals the truth. It reveals whatever is hidden. So this idea of truth is only going to come to you if you're like the Hangman and see the world, or see the situation from a different point of view. Seems like flipped upside down, so perhaps you have to like go upside down, maybe not literally, but figuratively speaking. Change your perspective on the way you view things, and perhaps when you change your perspective, your After I changed my perspective, I finally realized, oh, we're not spinning the sun, really. You know what I mean? It'll all come. We aren't spinning it like they say. There's like over 100 verses of the Bible that says that we're sturdy foundation. We're immovable. All right. That's it. Did I forget something? So yeah, to find the key, that's how we find the key, is when we do this, when we finally see this situation from a different perspective and it all clicks, that's when we can move on from the situation. And perhaps this Egyptian knowledge will help you figure that out, the vibration, learning all these things, and this practice. The more you know, the more you grow. And using your intuition, being honest with yourself and others, and the 7 of Wands, we didn't talk about that, so we'll conclude with that. And then this will help, and if we have to stay in between the lines. I hear stay in between the lines. Something about pushing buttons or like that. And protection. You're safe, loved, and protected. Alright, Capricorn. Thank you so very much for all your support. Yo, emo kid, you want to come say hi in my video?
No.
So yeah, he's saying stop something. Maybe five new habits. Drop 5 habits. I hear something unhealthy. Like this. Give those 5 things to God. And yeah, you got determination in the will, Capricorn. I love you. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned, I'm Claire V. And thank you for joining me here on Spread Space. If you haven't yet already, hit that bell so you get notified of my new videos. Love you.
From Los Angeles to Hawaii at 10 miles an hour. It's really quite amazing. Why do you need so many of them? Because we want the healthiest sperm to survive. We want the survival of the fittest. Of course, you may wonder why you need so many of them. And you can see here, they don't really swim in a direction. And you know, the reason you need so many is really quite simple. Sperm don't know how to ask for directions. Now, the fast cells of the brain are even faster than the sperm. They grow at 250,000 neurons a minute. And at birth, the baby's brain is a marvel of metamorphosis. It is 100 billion neurons at birth. It's 1/3 of the size of an adult, and by the time that baby has reached 2 years of age, their brain is 80% the size of an adult. While it's grown in size, the brain of a baby is not fully myelinated. Myelin is fat. Fat is critical to the functioning of neurons. It protects the neurons with a fatty sheath that insulates them from damage, and actually is thought to be critical to the development of impulse control and judgment, which is why it won't surprise those of you who survive teenagers to understand that myelination is not complete until the mid-20s. But guess what? Microwave radiation enhances the absorption of any toxic material in your body. That is why it's so important to understand that you want to keep these devices off your body and especially away from your children, because the fat-loving brain and the fat-happy sperm both are storage sites for toxic agents.